Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We usually spend our time looking at data, trends, and systems, but right now, I want us to really slow down. We're going to explore something incredibly profound, literally a matter of life and death. I'm going to share a true, deeply personal story with you that forces us to look at the one universal reality we all share, yet spend our entire lives trying to ignore. It's a story about the absolute limits of everything we're taught to chase in the modern world. Okay, let's dive into this. Our source text today starts off with a really intimate memory from the author. He writes, "My master who led me to learn Buddhism, Kunsang Dorje, was originally a Thangka painter who created exquisite Buddhist art. Devotees often bought them at high prices to offer at home." He goes on to say, and among them, there was one buyer in Canada who was extremely wealthy. And the story continues. Many years ago, the master visited this buyer's home. Setting the scene for a moment, we're all, frankly, gonna have to face eventually. He explains, at that time, the buyer's mother was bedridden, on the verge of death, and at this moment, her children and grandchildren were by her side. Facing the absolute end, when the veil of everyday life just completely drops away. The author writes, "The mother told her son that she was in great pain right now, and also felt fear." And, well, this is exactly how most of us are wired to react, right? We just want to pivot away from that heavy, uncomfortable reality. The son tells her, "Mom, don't think about those things. You have lived such a long life and experienced so much. Just think about the things that made you happy in the past, and you will feel a bit better." It's meant to be comforting, but as we're about to see, it totally misses the mark. The mother's response just completely shatters that well-intentioned illusion. She says, "No matter how much I think about those happy things, it does not help my current pain one bit." Man, it's just a heartbreaking realization. The memories of a lifetime, the highlights we literally build our entire identities around. When you're staring down actual existential terror and physical pain, they just lose all their power to soothe you. And then she delivers this absolutely devastating realization. She says, "When our family was extremely rich, the money we earned was so much it could be stacked in piles in the living room, unable to fit into the cabinets. But what use is all of that?" I mean, just pause and actually imagine that. Literal piles of money. A lifetime of massive earthly accumulation. And in our final moments, she looks at that legacy and realizes its stark, absolute uselessness. Section 1. Limits of Secular Wealth. So the master didn't just share this as a sad campfire story. He passed it down as a philosophical framework for how we understand our own lives. The crucial point here revolves around this concept known as secular dharmas. Basically, this refers to the pursuit of worldly achievements, wealth, status, temporary happiness, all that stuff. And the master's core lesson to the author was this: secular happiness, no matter how grand or impressive it looks, is incredibly fragile. The second it encounters real illness and death, it instantly transforms into superfluous waste. It shatters completely. It offers absolutely zero help, which perfectly illustrates the paradox we all live in. On one side, you've got secular returns. When you sink your time and energy into worldly values, building the career, gathering the wealth, getting the status, you do get returns. The source text totally acknowledges this. You get that temporary joy. You get the money stacked in the living room. But then compare that to the reality of facing death. None of those great achievements, not a single one, provides the actual wisdom you need to face the end. The return on investment drops straight to zero exactly when you need it most. Which brings us to a really heavy reflection from the author. He points out that the path of life is entirely individual, right? Whether or not you choose to walk a spiritual path, well, that's your call. But he notes, the greatest pity, the ultimate tragedy, is burying your entire lifetime purely in secular happiness. Think about it. If you define your whole existence by things that literally cannot help you at the finish line, what happens when you finally cross it? That leads us to section 2, wisdom for facing death. Because obviously, this isn't just about an old lady in Canada. This is about the one appointment literally none of us can cancel. Death is the universal problem. It's the ultimate lesson every single one of us must face. And the author challenges us with this super uncomfortable truth. We spend our days endlessly grasping at one secular thing after another. Today we're chasing a promotion, tomorrow we're chasing a new car. Day by day we grasp and we cling. So the big question is, until when? At what point do we stop this endless accumulating and actually start preparing for reality? Section 3, about I Hung Chen. Now, you might be wondering who exactly is guiding us through this intense existential deep dive. Well, let's look at his background because it gives some incredible weight to these observations. I-Hung Chen brings a really remarkable balance of perspectives here. He holds a PhD from the prestigious National Chengchi University, which grounds him in high-level academic discipline. But paired with that, he has over 30 years of experience in Qigong and more than 20 years dedicated to deep meditation. On top of that, he practices within the Nyingma lineage of Tibetan Buddhism, specifically engaging in advanced practices like Tsalung and Dzogchen. So he has literally spent decades cultivating the exact kind of inner wisdom that the wealthy mother in the story found she was completely lacking at the end of her life. And because of that deep wisdom, he leaves us with this final, piercing question directly from the text. Are we truly loving ourselves, or are we degrading ourselves? Seriously, think about that. When we obsessively chase wealth and temporary joys while completely ignoring the inevitable reality of our own mortality, are we actually taking care of ourselves? It's a hugely provocative thought, and it's one I really hope you carry with you long after this explainer ends. If this brought you some clarity today, or maybe sparked a realization, please hit that like button. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can keep unpacking these fascinating insights together. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.